I hope you enjoyed the conversation I was just able to have with Andrea Piering. She's the president of Sun State Builders, a company who's been in Phoenix for 53 years. And she has shared her journey with us, just coming into this industry, learning it one step at a time, promoting one step at a time into a beautiful, beautiful career, and has great advice for young people looking to grow and thrive in this industry. I really hope you enjoy the time I had with her.
I'm Stephanie, a mother, a pilot. I don't know. Am I trying to say the same things or just talk? Welcome to the Wisdom and Wealth Podcast, where the stories you don't hear are the ones that matter most. I'm Stephanie, a mother, pilot, and commercial real estate professional with deep roots in Arizona. I was an entrepreneur at 24 and sold my first business at 27, and I've been navigating commercial real estate ever since. We are going to be sitting down with some of the biggest names in business around the Phoenix metropolitan area, as well as community leaders and nonprofit organizations that are continuing to improve our community. I'm very excited for the things that they chose to share when they thought nobody was listening. What I've learned in hearing their stories aren't just the struggles and how we overcome them, but really building a network around you of people that know you, trust you, want to help you, and you are trying to give just as much to them as they give to you every single day. And never connecting that relationship to a transaction. It's about the relationships, the connections, and understanding the true stories that shape success. And I hope you find inspiration in the conversations we have.
Is this so surreal with your career growth? And we'll go into that in a second. But how long did it take to get used to saying that? I'm the president.
Yeah, it's still unusual for me a little bit sometimes,
That's
It
awesome.
definitely, having the trajectory that I've had has kind of been unique, I guess.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, so I started out with my dad. My dad was the general manager of Sun State Builders for 40 years. So kind of when I was a kid, he and I would do electrical conduit for some of the Sun State jobs as well as others on the weekends. And so I was 14. He wanted me to learn how to work and do manual labor. And so kind of through that process, I ended up learning how to read drawings, how to, kind of do this conduit. And it was interesting. But I can't say I had the full spark of interest at that time. But from there, I needed a summer job. And so, the position of courier was available at Sun State. And back then, it was a lot more paper distribution and drawings that had to be ran around. It wasn't the digital age that it is today. But so I did that. And then they kind of had, that was right after high school. And then they had an opening for a project coordinator. And so I kind of was going to college and I'd have afternoons free and stuff like that. So I worked my schedule that I could be a coordinator in the afternoons and kind of learn a little bit more of the business. And so just as I did that, it just started to become more and more interesting to me. And my degree is in biology and chemistry. And I thought I wanted to be a physician's assistant. And kind of as I was going through, college and as I got closer to graduation, I kind of realized that insurance dictates a lot more of what you can do. And I guess I was kind of disillusioned with I'm going to go save the world, and kind of recognized a little bit more that you're just really going to check boxes and you're going to kind of do what the insurance tells you to do. So when I graduated, I came back to our founder and kind of said, what do you think if I just stay on? And at that point, I'd kind of been able to manage some small TIs and things like that. He had said, oh, absolutely, you're welcome to. So it just kind of started a love affair of building buildings and seeing people's businesses and how they operate. And it's always just so fascinating to me to see the kind of behind the curtain of different businesses.
Yeah.
And so, I did that for about 10 to 15 years. And from there, our founder just kind of said, hey, I'm working on a succession plan. And so he had asked, there was 4 of us that he had initially asked. 3 of us had said we would like to buy into the company. One of our partners he was going to be the same limited time that the founder was, because it was kind of a progressive buyout.
Okay.
So ultimately in 2024, the January 1st of 2024, then my partner and I bought out the founder and our other partner and haven't looked back since.
You're all in.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. I accidentally got into construction myself. It was a total accident.
Awesome.
I was doing hospital strategy of all things. So I was on that side of the medical system. And this guy just started calling me going, "Oh, I want to meet you. I want to meet you." And I look him up and he owns a construction company in North Scottsdale. And I lived in Litchfield Park at the time. I'm going, why does this guy want to meet me? I know nothing about construction, went to flight school, and now I do hospital strategy, right? Those don't translate to construction. And so I finally meet with him and he's explaining to me how development works. And he wants to be a healthcare developer in conjunction with having the general contracting business. And I said, okay, still don't know why you want to talk to me. And he was basically saying, I need you to speak doctor because I need to, have the inside track of how we get into the medical space and how we become this thing. And to your point, it's like you do get to kind of dabble in their business when you build their thing.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And it's over the years, it's amazed me to see like, wow, this is really a business. I didn't think that taking somebody else's product in bulk and breaking it down, repackaging it, relabeling it, and sending it back out could be a business, but I guess it is, So it's neat to get to see that.
And I love your story, especially today with the way the world is perceiving DEI measures, because your story is undeniable.
Oh,
You have
for sure.
every job in the company, and the best leaders didn't even intend to be the leader, right? It just kind of happens because of the passion in the business.
Oh, for sure. And our founder gave me every opportunity, back in the day when I first started, I was a 20-year-old young bright-eyed girl that, thought I had the whole world figured out. And he just kept saying, sure, you can do that. Sure, I'll give you a chance to do that. And that was a time that there wasn't a lot of women in construction.
Right. It still
So,
isn't.
no. And so, I'm tremendously grateful to him for the opportunities that he afforded me and ultimately allowing me to be in this seat.
And I, again, accidentally have been mentoring women lately. It just kind of naturally progressed that way. But what would you say as far as like sitting in the seat that you're in and knowing the help that you needed along the way, whether it be female or non-female, just kind of mentorship in general? What's your level of importance as it relates to that?
Oh, I think it's tremendously important. My dad and our founder, Jim, as well, always kind of had this philosophy, if you're humble and teachable, we can do anything with you, kind of thing. And so for me, I think mentorship is tremendously important. There's so much, it just shortens the learning curve. It's not that somebody can't figure it out on their own, but what they might figure out over a course of 10 years could be shortened to 3 if they've got a mentor that can kind of guide them through. And especially in our case, we know 1,000 things that don't work, so if we can go through and say, hey, this sounds like a really great idea, but we've tried that and this is what happened, it just shortens the learning curve for everyone.
The no list is easier, right? Just don't, here's mistakes I made. Don't repeat.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of a philosophy we have in our company is like, if you create, have a mistake that happens, please tell everyone about it. We just don't want to replicate it. It's not that you're going to be shamed or that you're going to be in trouble for making a mistake, because we always want to be innovative as well. And sometimes with innovation comes things that don't work, but we're like, just tell everyone, please, so that you don't end up creating and making the same mistake multiple times.
That's the value, right? Let's only pay for this one once.
Exactly.
But as far as navigating the females in your organization, what is your philosophy? Is it more just everybody show up and do good work? Is it we need to create certain spaces for certain things to raise that culture in our company? Or how do you approach that?
We're really unique in the sense that we are over 50% female as a company. So for a construction company, that's not typical. But part of what I would attribute that to is we promote from within. So if we have, that's our priority to do. Not that we don't hire from outside, but we try to fill positions from within. Mm-hmm. And so we've had receptionists that have been incredibly talented and very capable. And so we're like, do you want to work towards a project admin position? Do you want to work towards a project coordinator position? We have female PMs that started out with us as coordinators and just went through engineer, went through PM, so for us, it's really, we don't try to say, oh, we need 10 women, or we really don't. It's who's capable. And from within, we typically have a lot of women here. So it's just, I would say, I think women are far more successful, if you will, in the project manager role, or I think they're better candidates for it. As much as you don't see a lot of women project managers, I feel like women's skill set of being able to multitask and kind of have 10 things going at once, all at different phases, and not forget any of them. Their ability to handle a customer. They have just much more of an emotional like intelligence that they can kind of read situations. They can read people a little bit better. Not that men can't, but I just find that that's really, the multitasking and the emotional intelligence is a huge strength for women. So where they have to make up the learning curve is just the construction. And that's really anyone who starts has to, fully learn the construction. So for us, like we don't typically look at gender in our company as far as, oh, okay, well, we won't let you do that because you're female, or we will. We kind of have a perspective of if you want to do that, we'll figure out the path that gets you there.
Love that. And I think from my own learning curve, I was very blessed to be able to sit in the room and not have to play a big role when I first entered the industry. And I didn't know literally anything about construction, nothing. And just being able to be the observer in the room, whether we were in an interview or whatever it was, I could watch how somebody would respond, not just to the question, but how it was delivered, how it was packaged, where they didn't understand. And you just kind of got to watch. And I don't know that there was a better way to learn than to watch people that have done it forever, their mistakes, because they're making them in real time in front of you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's, with all of our project managers and, but females in general in the company, I'm like, hey, you have to understand you're in a male dominated place, so if you don't know something, say you don't know it. Because if you try to bluff or you try to, give them some kind of half, answer that's not fully sure, they're going to pick that up on you and they're not going to respect you for it. So it's like, you're better off saying, you know what, I'm kind of new to this, or this isn't something I've dealt with before. What would you do? Can you kind of guide me as to your thoughts, or what are you seeing? I'm like, that would get you so much further in this arena with men than trying to give them some answer or trying to be, overly firm or aggressive, and trying to, like, you don't have to be that. And men, quite honestly, if you approach it in a kind of collaborative spirit, seasoned guys that do know the answer or do have thoughts on it want to help. They want to, say, all right, well, let me teach you, let me show you. So a lot of it's in how do you communicate and how do you deliver, different messages or ask questions in certain situations.
I said that to one of my mentees recently. I said, it doesn't matter where you're at. People like to help people in general. People, and if you say, I'm rooted in, I need some help, I need you to teach me this, or I'm trying to learn this, people will really roll out the red carpet. Specifically, I believe, in this industry and in this town. People are really willing to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fastest way to get them not to be willing to help is if you put up that barrier, like you do know it all, or like you're, it's just, and so that's what we just really try to work within our company of like, hey, if you don't know something, that's all right. Not everyone who starts day one knows everything. And there may be stuff, even for me, 25 years in, that I go, well, I haven't seen this before, but I know I've got 2 or 3 other PMs that may have.
That's awesome.
So it's just a spirit of, kind of team collaboration and learning together and sorting things out and problems out together.
Yes. Like the people that you go through the stuff with and how you go through it, it's everything. It's all the shit's going to cover the surface. It's how you deal with it.
Exactly. Especially in construction.
It's construction.
I tell people in our office, I'm like, if it's easy, they wouldn't need us.
That's very, very, very true. And what about as far as construction goes? One of the things that I was always excited to see and I kind of waited for is innovation. So like, what have you seen? I left the construction industry about 4 years ago and I miss it every single day. And I mean that. But has innovation hit the construction realm in a way that you feel is significant?
It's starting to with AI, and there's a lot of new things that are starting to hit as far as like there's some AI like safety program things like where it can scan the job site looking for different, safety violations or things that may be of concern. There's definitely like some AI like interior measuring tools that I've seen kind of roll out. Obviously the note taker and things like that. So I think we're just on the forefront of what, AI will do for construction. I do know that I've seen a couple of things and I've messed with it a little bit with the AI. It's not quite there yet, but I think it will be as far as programs like the AI being able to read the drawings and doing almost like a preliminary review. Like our project managers do a 70%, a 90%, review, But I think ultimately it would be my goal that in 2-3 years, we would run it through an AI model as well to do, hey, a preliminary review for the City of Phoenix 2024 code. And so that maybe you could speed up your plan review with the city by being able to pick up kind of those simple things that pop, off in the beginning and maybe address those ahead of your first submittal. So I can definitely see that there's a lot that will be evolving in the next couple of years, but it's on the forefront for sure,
I just wonder too, it takes a certain level of bravery to use it, right? When you're first at even just learning the basic steps of how to use these new tools, it's almost like I can see in the future, like every company having a position that's basically keep trying to use new technology in our day-to-day functions, just so if somebody's brave enough to try it, put it through the machines, give it a shot, see what works and what doesn't. It's scary.
Yeah. It is. And it's funny because we just recently, like, culture is big to us. So we try to incorporate our customers' culture into every design that we have. And so one of the things that I thought was kind of cool was, and I love the younger generations for this, is that one of my younger guys that's in pre-con kind of said, I'm going to throw this in ChatGPT and, ask them to create a mural that's, significant of this company or whatever. And like the image that it popped up was awesome. And so we just put it on our proposal to them. And we just kind of explained, hey, this is just something fun that, kind of is supposed to be indicative of your culture or what ChatGPT thinks it is. And the customer was like blown away. They were like, that is so awesome. How neat, And so it's just creative uses like that as well that I think really we're going to start seeing accelerate rapidly as we go forward.
That could have gone horribly wrong.
It could have. Well, and it's funny because I tried to create it for our company and it did go horribly wrong. I'm like, this is awful.
But like you just insulted their grandmother. Like, what if I did?
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm learning a lot of its, prompts and how you prompt it and things like that. That
I've learned you can ask it to prompt for you, to prompt
yes. Yeah, which is absolutely it's crazy, but exciting all at the same time.
It is. Wisdom and Wealth is brought to you by Landmark Title. Their team sets the standard for personal attention, security, and service. Because what's important to you is important to them. Learn more about their commercial and residential title and escrow services at ltaag.com. Landmark Title, where experience matters. And so, if I hear your story correctly, you kind of just sheer grit and tenacity found the next position, one at a time, after another. But if you had advice either to your younger self or that younger person sitting in a firm that doesn't know how to raise their hand to ask for the next thing, what would you offer as words of wisdom to tell that person to take that leap and how to take it?
I would say that it's always, hard work. Like, you have to cover your words with sweat. It's got to be that you're the first one there, you're the last one to leave, because people notice that, especially management. And then, for me, it was always saying, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? And do you have, and even if it was kind of a little bit nerve-wracking or whatever, like when I was a coordinator, I would say to my project manager, all right, what do you think is the next step of this, or the next step of me learning? And they'd say, oh, submittals or something like that. And okay, all right, well, when you have one, can I do it? Can I try to do it? Will you show me how to do it? The next time that you have one, can I sit with you and have you explain to me what you're doing? And inevitably, they'd be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And it kind of puts a note in their brain of they want to do more. And so once you do that, then it's like, okay, well, I understand now how to do that. Now, what's something else I can do? What's something else I can take off your plate? And just trying to really keep chasing and asking for it. Like, no one's going to come to you and just say, oh, well, you look like you've really been working hard. And so I would like to give you a promotion. Like, I mean, sometimes I guess that happens, but a lot of times you have to be much more proactive in saying, what else can I do? Like, I want to do more, or, hey, ultimately, I want to be at this level or this position. What are the steps I need to do to get there? Yeah. And have someone outline that and follow up with it. It's just definitely, it's an active role in your career advancement plus the hard work.
But what I like what you just said is different than what I've been experiencing. So what you just said is you have to ask to do the work. And what I'm experiencing, especially when I'm mentoring, is it's not what's happening. That the younger generation, I think, that are eager and they are trying. This is not an easy industry, right? It's not just plug and play and everybody just merrily goes about their way. It takes a lot of vulnerability and risk. But I feel like the ask they're making is, I deserve and I want. Give me the thing versus let me do the work.
Yeah. No, and in my experience, you have to say, let me do the work. They have to go, wow, she or he handled that really well. Holy cow. Like, in asking to do the work, you can showcase how smart you are or how ambitious you are, or, your hard work ethic. They start to see that, then it's in reverse. Then it's, well, they've been working really hard and they're really capable. They picked up these 10 more tasks that they can do. They deserve a raise because really they're capable of more than just the position that they're at.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reverse. You have to show them first what you're capable of.
And I love to hear that your company, I think of Discount Tire when I think of companies that are just amazing about hiring within. But I think that's how you breed that culture, right? You see the reward pay off. You see the person learn the thing and get the thing, right? You're always feeding up versus you must have to go somewhere else to get a promotion around here. You know what I mean? Just to make that climb each run.
And for us, it's like we have tremendous longevity. Like, we've got people here that work for 35 years. We just had 2 40-year employees retire. Like, we have people that stay, and so for us, we don't want to lose someone who fits our culture because we don't have, our culture is unique in the sense that we don't have like a cutthroat culture that no one wants to help each other. Like, we all really view each other as a team. So it's like people will jump in on other projects and help if someone's not available. And so that culture fit is more important to us. So we're like, we've got a culture fit and we've got someone who's smart and capable of learning. Let's try to teach them. And we have had people that have said, I want to be a project, or we've had an accountant that said, I want to be a project coordinator. We said, all right, let's do it. And then they get over to the project coordinator for 6 to 9 months. And they're like, I don't like this. I want to go back to accounting. We're like, all right, no harm, no foul. You can go right back where you were if that was a spot better suited for you. But we want people to be satisfied in what they're doing and that they feel like they're appreciated. They feel like they have an opportunity to do something more or a different career path, whatever way they want to go. We want to be able to facilitate that for them.
That's amazing. How many employees do you have?
We have about 55.
Oh my gosh. No self-perform. You guys are just...
The only thing we really self-perform is like dust control. And we've got some carpenters that do a lot of miscellaneous, kind of either super small jobs, like, cutting in a door or adding a wall somewhere, or they also can do like kind of punch list finish stuff. But that's really about all we do that's self-perform.
Okay. In Phoenix market or other markets?
We're up in Yavapai County and kind of really all over Arizona. We go to Tucson, we go to Sierra Vista, Casa Grande, all around there as well. So kind of all over Arizona. We will go outside of the state, but typically it's for repeat customers. So we've done stuff in Vegas, we've done stuff in New Mexico and California and Indiana, but it really was just because a specific customer said, will you please go build for me in this state? And so we've honored that.
That's awesome. And for you, so the final jump from basically staffer to president, what was that like for you?
It was an interesting transition. I would joke with my founder and say, gosh, the day that we bought you out, your, face and stress and everything got tremendously lighter and it all went to me. Totally. And so it's like, it definitely gives you a different perspective when you realize the weight of what is on your shoulders and how many families are relying on ultimately you to facilitate new work, to continue for them to have a job. And it's not something that my partner or I take lightly. It's very, for us, it's very serious, and everyone's, family for us here. And we've all known each other for 25 years. So there's a lot riding on it. And we make sure that we do everything we can that will go forward another 50 years.
I love that. And it's hard too with construction because a lot of times everybody that you're employing is probably head of household.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
for sure.
You feel those babies in college tuitions.
Yeah, for sure. For us too, like we have, lots where it's two brothers work for us, or we've got cousins that work for us. Yeah. We have a husband and wife that work for us. So sometimes we're both of their incomes, so
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of pressure, but not anything we can't overcome.
Well, and I think I read third generation Arizonan.
Yep. And my partner's second.
I'm second almost. But yeah, there's not many of us. Thanks for
No,
sticking
there's not.
around. But so you guys are homegrown. What do you want this to be? Where do you want to take it?
My partner and I both kind of have a shared vision of the fact that we don't have any kind of dreams of being a billion-dollar company. We believe in design, build, construction, and adding the value there through efficient design and kind of having our customers, I want to give them the most value. So if our customer walks in and says, I want the most beautiful lobby ever, and I want it to be crazy high end, and I don't care if it's $10 million, awesome. I'd love to give that to you. But there's also the customers that we have that are small businesses. And they're like, hey, I got to make sure my warehouse is super efficient. I don't care what the ceiling tile looks like. And this is all I can do. And this is all the money I have. I like to help them as well and be able to say, this is what we can do. And this is where we'll allocate the money. So for him and I, we would like to be, ultimately maybe sit around 250 million consistently, but still kind of be a smaller boutique builder. He and I both think that one of the things that, make us different is that our customer service is second to none. And part of that is our owners can get a hold of us. So they have the president and CEO's cell phone, and we answer the phone. And so for us, I don't want to get so big that we lose our culture, number one, but also that there's so many layers of executives and things like that to where our customer doesn't feel like they're getting the response that they want or the importance that they are. I want them to be able to know, hey, I can call right now and Andrea will answer the phone and she will fix whatever heartache I'm having right now. She will hear me and she will get it addressed and smoothed out. And he and I both don't see how you can do that if you're a billion-dollar company. It's just the two are incompatible.
Yeah, at some point you cross that threshold and you have to survive that level, and it's
exactly.
So you leave something behind when you do that, and it's a lot to consider.
Exactly. And so for us, we want to stay what's made Sun State Builders for 53 years. Our quality projects, our great customer service and things like that, and our culture here of being a family. We want to keep that. It's
funny you say that, the feeling of just do good work, be proud of it, go home happy, but answer the phone. And it's so like in my business, it's really hard to differentiate yourself. It really is. And it's like, how do you put the quality on? I'll answer the phone and I'll get it done and I'll care. It's like, it sounds like shouldn't every company do that, but it's become such a rarity. It's like, if that's one of those beautiful things we have, I'll take it because I know I value it.
Exactly. Well, and that's what we, repeatedly reiterate to our PMs and any of our staff. We're like, it needs to be 24 hours max for you to respond to somebody. So if they send you an email at 5:00 at night, you have to respond before 5:00 at night the next day. Like, you can't have someone sending emails off into the abyss and they don't know if you've gotten it. Even if your response is, hey, I'm still working on this, but I haven't forgotten you, whatever it is, like, we just keep telling you, like, that's so critical in this day and age where people feel like, oh, well, I'll just fire off an email and I emailed them 10 times, but I didn't get a response. It's like, pick up the phone, So
and even
it's
if you
definitely
call and say, I don't know yet. I don't have an answer. It's just like that peace of mind. I felt heard. Like, my message landed somewhere.
And that someone's still working on it somewhere, So it's just things that we keep kind of working through our company and keep reminding people of, is that in a digital age where everything's a text or a voicemail, kind of just real quick email, whatever, it's so important to still have that personal touch, especially because a lot of our customers are, 35 plus. So they still remember the telephone age and they're not just the texting generation. And it does matter, to have that physical, voice communication.
It's so funny you say that. I had in the last month, at least 2 local developer gentlemen say something very similar to me. And it was something along the lines of, I love that you just pick up a phone and call me just to say hi. And I said, well, that sounds nice, but what are you talking about? It was they sat as the number 2 in their development offices, their whole career, and watched the number 1 just get peppered with calls and people stopping by and wanting to talk to them and gatekeeping for the number 1. And now they're the number 1 and nobody's calling them. Nobody's stopping by. And they're kind of like, what the heck?
What the heck?
So I think when you do that, when you do pick up that phone, it's like, it's so refreshing. It's getting the letter in the mail,
For sure. And like my partner and I both, like if we hear about a problem through a project manager or whatever, I'll reach out to that owner and say, hey, my project manager filled me in that we had a little bit of an issue here with this. Just want you to know we're working on that. And by the time that we're done with this fix, you're never going to know it even happened. And so I just want you to know that I'm aware of it. We're on it. It's going to work out fine. And if you're not happy with it, let me know. And oftentimes I think that really makes them go, oh, okay, my project is important. I am on somebody's radar. They do care what happens. It's not just, well, I'm dealing with the PM and I guess the PM thinks it's important, but no one else in the company even knows.
No, it's huge, huge. So what would be one thing as we wrap here that you would that you really want to see, whether it's in your company, in our industry, that like, what's a big hope that you have?
I'd like to see more young women getting into, construction. I think a lot of times when you're 17, 18, 19, and you don't have a family member in construction, I think it's really easy for that to be daunting and kind of go, oh gosh, I don't know. And I don't want to be out in the dirt and I don't want to be swinging a hammer. Like, I think it's really easy to not have the full picture of what you could be.
The opportunities.
Yes. And it's a great career path. Like we have tons of single moms in here that they're providing a great living for their family and they have more upward earning potential and they're so smart and they're so capable that it's just awesome to see that. And so I would like to see more of that younger generation coming in, and female in particular, to kind of get a piece of, the construction world and see that it can be interesting. It can be really exciting to meet new people and understand new businesses. That would be ultimately my hope.
I love it. I hope we keep you on podium. So you have the story, right? You're living proof that you can pivot, right? You can go from med school to pivot to hustle to the president of the company. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obtainable for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. It was really nice to talk with you.
Oh, thank you. The pleasure was mine.
Okay, go kick ass.
All right. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope the conversation was inspiring for you. I hope you got a few laughs out of it and learned a thing or two. Please like, subscribe, and love you. See you next time. I'm navigating the streets, y'all. I'm a mom.